Hey Art Fam, welcome back to the part 2 of my undersea coloring series. If you watched the first part, you saw me outlining all the ocean creatures. Today we are diving into the color, and trust me, it's going to bring the sketch to life. So grab your colors, relax, and let's paint it together. I'm starting with the octopus, and for its face I'm going with a soft purple tone. It's calming and perfect for the underwater vibe. I'm keeping my strokes light here so the color blends evenly. Now as I move around the tentacles and the head, I'm slowly layering the purple for the richness. I love how the purple gives the octopus a sort of gentle power, mysterious but also kind of cute. Now I'm moving to the tentacles and the top of the head, and this is where I'm bringing in some dark purple to create shadows and depth. I'm focusing on the areas where the tentacles curve or overlap, just gently layering in the darker shade. It really helps the tentacles stand out from each other and gives that cool 3D look. Around the base of the head and where the tentacles meet the body, I'm deepening the color. It creates a nice gradient from light to dark. You don't need to press hard here, just build up the layers slowly. The contrast between the light purple and dark purple makes the octopus feel so much more alive and dynamic. For the eyes, I'm using bold black to make them really stand out, and I have added a tiny white highlight to give them that glossy, realistic shine. Now right around the eyes, I'm adding this curved detail using yellow color. It frames the eyes beautifully and adds a kind of glow, almost like a natural marking that makes the face pop even more. Next, I'm sketching small curved eyebrow above the eyes using brown. It gives the octopus some expression and makes it look more thoughtful and alive. Then I'm moving on to the face and adding little dark blue spots over the light blue base. They're small touches to break up the smoothness and make the texture feel more organic. And finally, I'm using brown again to color the raised bump on the top of the octopus head. These little details add a bit of realism, like the rough texture you would find on a real sea creature. here I'm going with a thin line of gray across the face, a small curve, kind of like a subtle crease or shadow. It adds depth without overpowering the rest of the design. Below that, I have also used a dark blue tone to make tiny spots along the bottom of the face to make that area feel a bit more alive and natural, like real octopus skin with tiny markings. Now for the fish swimming around, I'm starting with the golden yellow for the face area. It catches the light beautifully and gives the fish that shiny, almost magical look like they're glowing under the sea. I've also added the same yellow to add detail to their scale and gills. This light stroke to keep the texture clean but noticeable. It really gives the fish that scaly shimmer like they're constantly in motion. Next, I'm going in with the bright red for the tail. It's bold and fiery and it stands out perfectly against the yellow face. For the fins, I've added blue. It balances out the warmth of the yellow and red and adds that nice cool ocean tone. Altogether, the colors work in harmony and make the fish feel like they're alive and swimming right off the page. Let's move on to the background and work on the sea plants. I'm layering light green first to build the base and then going in with the dark green to add contrast. Some parts I'm blending both to create that undersea moment like they're swaying in the water. You can see how these two shades can make things come to life. I love how relaxing this part is. jellyfish, I wanted them to feel unique, so I used a combination of purple and orange. Purple for the main body and orange along the sides and tentacles. This mix feels really vibrant, like something glowing deep in a coral reef. I was careful not to overblend the colors because I wanted each shade to stand out on its own. The contrast made them pop even more. And now, finally, my favorite part. The jellyfish holding the key. I was actually waiting for this moment the whole time. It feels like that little hidden story inside the artwork. I used yellow to color the key, kept it bright and golden like it's something special. It almost feels like this jellyfish is guarding a treasure chest somewhere deep in the ocean. Just this tiny detail, but it makes the whole scene feel more magical. Alright, last part, the coral reef. I'm going with red for the main structure. It's bold, warm, and grabs your attention instantly. Then I'm adding blue details around the edges and in the crevices. I love how the blue cools it down and creates a beautiful underwater contrast. Together, the color feels alive. After this, I'm just going back now to darken a few areas and highlight and smoothen out any rough spots. Every time I step back and look at this piece, it feels more real, like a snapshot from the deep sea. And that's a wrap for part 2. Thank you so much for coloring with me. Let me know your favorite part in the comments, the octopus, the fish, or the corals. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and join me for the next videos. Until then, keep creating and stay inspired.